going on YouTube? It's your boy JS392 back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that I love about my 2021 Dodge Charger Scatpack Widebody. In my previous video I did 5 things I hate, and I explained that, even though there are 5 things that I hate, or some things that I hate, I still love the vehicle. So now I'm going to tell you what I love about this vehicle. The first thing that I would say I love about this vehicle, obviously, is the sound. The sound from the exhaust, the sound from the engine, from this legendary V8, and all other V8s. They just all sound great, but this one in particular, this 6.4 liter Hemi, it just sounds like a dream. I'm sure you can hear it in the background, and the exhaust sound. I'm gonna put up a video, a little clip. It is just unbelievable. And very few cars on the road can match it or beat it stock. This is stock, bone stock. I haven't done anything to the exhaust. There are options out there. A lot of people like to straight pipe it, the cheap way, or put like catback exhaust. I know the X mod is probably the best one if you want to go with the exhaust system, which I think would be the smart decision, because when you do the straight pipe, you kind of, or when you cut the mufflers out, you kind of change the back end pressure, and your emissions start going crazy. You get a whole bunch of black dirt coming out into your tips, and you end up actually losing power. If you go with a proper exhaust system, like I saw other YouTubers put on the X mod, and they gained 7 horsepower and 8 foot-pounds of torque, legitimate. It's put in the dyno and everything, and it's true form, and they gain a little bit of power. Obviously not a significant gain, but it's better to gain than to lose, obviously, right? So, the sound is definitely legendary, and I love it. The second thing that I say that I love about my Dodge Charger Scatpack, obviously, is going to be the acceleration. As soon as you hit the accelerator, you get this back push, punchy feeling. It's a very punchy motor because of the torque. Just take a look and listen. And I barely tapped it there, And that's readily available at all times, whether you have it on Sport, Eco, or Track. Now, obviously, if you have it on Track or Sport, you get a bit more of a kick, especially when you're going in between shifts. But you're still always going to have a really hefty amount of torque readily available whenever you choose to hit that accelerator. And it's something that always puts a smile on my face, as it does for everyone else. That's the main reason why people buy these vehicles and they're so desirable. It's because of the insane amount of torque, and that's also due to the large displacement. Yeah, it's a 6.4 liter and it wastes a lot of gas, but the trade-off is a hefty amount of torque, and you can definitely put a lot of horsepower output on this engine. So obviously, when you get a car like this, you're not worried about MPGs or gas prices or anything like that. If you are, then this is not the car for you, honestly, because you're gonna be wasting a lot of it quickly. So let's be ready to spend a lot of money and time at the gas station when owning one of these vehicles. But again, that kick, that punch, whenever you need to overtake somebody, switch lanes, and keep going, it's there, and it's so satisfying. It really is. Another thing that I love about my Charger Scatpack is definitely the comfort. As you can see, the seats are big, bolstery. They're meant for like larger people, kind of like me. I'm 5'11", over 200 pounds. Let's just leave it at that. And it's extremely comfortable. See, it's a nice plush, a little bit on the firm side, but once you sit in it, you really don't feel that firmness because it's such a deep cushioned seat that it just feels like you're sitting on a cloud. Then on top of that, because I do have the Scatpack, I have the adaptive suspension. And when you have it on street, it puts it at the softest setting, and it feels like I'm driving on a cloud. Like I'm on the flying Nimbus. Like it's just so smooth. It goes over bumps really well. And even though this car has 20-inch rims, the tires are still relatively thick. They have like a 45 sidewall, I believe. I might be wrong, could be 35. But it's still enough tire to not ruin the ride. Because if you know, for some of you may not know, the bigger the rim, the harsher the ride, because you have less tire to dampen the bumps. So this car, Dodge, the one thing that they got right is definitely the comfort, and it is just super comfortable. You have heated and cooled seats to help you out. Do I wish there was massage seats? Yeah, but this isn't that type of car. But again, like I said, it doesn't even matter. I mean, this car is just super comfortable, especially going around the city. When you're doing these big city commutes. And if anybody knows about that, it's not really a long, smooth ride. It's a stop and go kind of thing. You're in traffic a while and all that stuff. And if your car isn't, comfortable and you don't have good seats, your back is gonna start hurting. You're gonna want to move around. You're gonna feel uncomfortable after a while. You're gonna want to get out the car and stretch and everything. But in this vehicle, you could definitely go a much longer time simply because of the extremely soft and comfortable seats. Again, the cushioning is a little tougher than usual, but that's probably because they expect you to sink in, because it almost feels like memory foam. And memory foam is a little bit stiffer than other types of cushioning, but once you're on it, it feels like you're not even sitting on anything, like you're on a cloud. So I definitely love the comfort of this vehicle. That's without a doubt. Another thing I like about my Charger Scatpack is the looks. This car is beautiful, even if it's not like the best design. I love the interior, the stitching, the seats, the exterior, all that good stuff, man. When I'm on the outside and I'm just looking at my baby, I fall in love every single time. And then when I see another car on the road, same way, especially the wide body, I'm like, wow, that thing's a beast. Those fender flares really give it a good broad presence that just, when it's coming down the road, you're like, damn, what the hell is that? Especially if you see it in your rearview mirror. And Dodge, did little tweaks here and there to make it look better and better, because they're not going to change what they already have. If it ain't broke, they'll fix it, whatever, fine. But at least they were able to, add things here and there, like spoilers and front bumpers, rear bumpers, rims. They even changed the rotors for the high performance models. So they did a lot of good, especially here with the stitching and everything. And when you look at this car from the front, especially with the lights on, at nighttime or even the daytime, you see the DRLs, the daytime running lights, and they look really just sexy, man. And even the tail light in nighttime, whether you have them smoked, tinted out or not, Dodge does tail lights the right way. I think since they've done the long tail light across, the back, every other manufacturer in the industry has pretty much emulated that look. And finally, what I love about my 2021 Charger Scatpack is the performance features. Now, I went and showed the SRT dashboard, but I didn't really go too far into it. So you got SRT mode and SRT dashboard, which is pretty much the same thing. You're gonna go into the same area. SRT mode just takes you straight to your settings. You have auto, which is basically going to give you eco. It turns off your paddle shifters. Now, as you can see, you'll also have suspension, steering, and traction and street, which is like the most comfortable setting for your damper, your dampers and stuff like that, because it does have the adaptive suspension. Custom, obviously, you're going to be able to do your own stuff. You do your custom setup, and you have all these options to put, the steering, suspension, traction, paddle shifters on or off, and transmission on how you want it. This is how I have it on transmission on track, which also, if you don't know, it opens up the valves in your exhaust. Sport has them like halfway open, and then street has them almost closed for as quiet as possible. But sport and track open them up, and so that's a little, I guess you could say, Easter egg there. And then once you do that, you could do valet mode, and then you have your race options, which will bring you to, again, the line lock. You activate the line lock, and then it says follow instructions. Instructions are here. You're gonna hit the brake. Gotta make sure you're in drive, of course. And it'll show you your brake pressure. Then you press the OK button, and then you release the brake. Then you can apply the throttle. Now, I'm not gonna do it now because I have plenty of videos of me doing burnouts, so now's not the time. But yeah, you know what a burnout is. Then you have launch control, which is also cool. In another video, I'm gonna show pretty much how to do it. But launch control basically is you set what RPM you want the car to be in when you're ready to launch it for a race. It's pretty simple instructions. You put it there, and then you put it in drive, and then when you're ready, you hit the brake, and you're pretty much ready to go. Right, so you hit the launch button. Vehicle will launch at 1900 RPM. Follow instructions with cluster. To launch, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. Again, I'm gonna do that in another video. Let's turn that back off. All right, and then we're gonna go to shift light. And this is where you set up your shifts for when you're racing, and basically put the RPM. Now this is the gears that I put from some research I did online, but everybody has their own that they can do, because there's so many variables to what affects your 0 to 60 times, and the way the car drives and the way it picks up speed. So everybody's going to be different. And once you get out of race options and everything, from there you can literally just walk on over to the SRT dashboard, right? So it brings you back here. You already did race options and drive modes. Now we go to performance pages. Usually it takes a while to load. I know for some people it takes 60 seconds. This being a 2021 is actually a bit faster. Plus I have an update, so it should only take about 20 seconds or so. There you go. See? So of course here you have your dyno, and you can check the history of your dyno, see where you're at last 30 seconds. You hit the gas, you'll see it go up and down, and once you're doing your pulls, it'll get closer to that 500 number. Now up here you have a little camera, right? So if you have a memory card, right? If you have a memory card or any kind of storage installed, what it'll do is not going to turn on a camera or anything like that. It's going to take a picture of what you've done and record it, so that you can look at it later on the computer and print it out and show people or whatever. And it'll pretty much record everything that's here. So you got your engine. Again, it'll do your torque, your horsepower, PSI. If you actually had forced induction, it would show a completely different number. Then you have your G-forces, your gauges basically your transmission temperature and your air intake temperature. I'm pretty sure you can add oil temperature and everything else, just like you have it in the engine over here. Then you have your timers, of course. You know, you have your feet, your 60 feet, 330. That'll be like reaction time, braking, accelerating. Then you have your 1/8 mile, then you have your 1,000 feet, and then you have your 1/4 mile, which is actually 1320. And then you can save all that. Boom. Right? And then again, you have your USB or whatever. You can actually save it on Uconnect as well. And then if you take the picture, same thing, it'll do it right away. And then here you basically just have whatever you like to have, and your widgets. So again, you can put your oil temperature, your current gear, your power. This is for like when you just want to have everything up here while you're doing what you're doing. But yeah, that's definitely a cool part of it. You know, the performance options here are freaking awesome. Of course, you have traction control off, launch again, drive modes, and that's definitely something that puts a smile on your face when you use it. You know how to use it properly, and that's what's great about this vehicle, and the fact that SRT, Street Racing Technology division of Dodge, were able to integrate that into this vehicle since 2020. And I'm really happy about that. And there you go, guys. That's the 5 things that I love about my Dodge Charger Scatpack. If there's anything that you feel I've left out, just let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.